What if I told you that some mountain bikers ride uphill for fun? Sounds crazy, right? But that is exactly what cross-country mountain biking is all about. And before you think it's just riding some smooth XC trails, modern XC riders are hitting rock gardens, steep ascents, drops, and technical features that will surprise a lot of mountain bikers, all on 100 to 120 millimeters of suspension. So what is cross-country mountain biking, and why do millions of riders love it? So let's go ahead and break it down. In this Mountain Biking Explained Simply series, I break down mountain biking topics so you can easily understand them and spend more time on the trail. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So cross country focuses on distance, speed, and endurance, and efficiency. Riders climb and ascend in the same ride, and cross country mountain biking is the only mountain biking sport in the Olympics, and is different from downhill and enduro because enduro you ride up kind of slowly to get to the top, and then you ride down the descents as fast as you possibly can. If you want to see my enduro video, go and check out that video right here. And then downhill is pretty much the opposite of cross country, where you get a shuttle or a lift up, and then you ride down as fast as you possibly can instead of riding up and then down. And then why do people love cross-country mountain biking so much? It can be a great workout and have fitness benefits to it. You can cover a lot more miles than the standard mountain biking discipline, and I'll tell you why in a little bit when I get to the bike section of the video. With being able to go more miles, you can explore much larger trail systems and go out on much longer epic rides. There seems to be a pretty big racing community as well in the XC world, so if that is your thing, or if you're wondering what XC racing is, make sure you subscribe because that is the next video in this series, so that way you don't miss it. And you can find XC trails pretty much anywhere you go. So what bike do you need to ride cross country? And the answer is pretty much anything but a downhill or free ride bike. Enduro bikes are going to be slower but still be able to pedal cross country, and then you've got trail bikes which are going to be a little bit faster because they've got a little bit less suspension, and then XC bikes which are meant for the discipline of XC, hence the name XC bike. So I'm going to go into the differences between an XC bike and a trail bike pretty soon, so make sure you stay around for that, so that way you know exactly what the difference is between a trail bike and an XC bike. So an XC bike are typically the lightest of all bikes out there besides road bikes, but in the mountain biking discipline, XC bike is going to be the lightest. You've got XC hardtails, which are going to be the lightest out of everything because they don't have a rear shock, and they're usually 100 to 120 millimeters of travel. And then if you're getting a little bit bigger of travel, they can be 130 millimeters, but definitely not anything really more than 130 millimeters of travel. The XC hardtail is going to be more efficient than a XC full suspension bike just because you don't have the rear shock, so you get more power to the pedals without the shock absorbing some of that. But now shocks are getting so good in the mountain biking world that while a shock still takes some of the power, it doesn't take as much as it used to. And then there's also lockouts that you can do for your shock, so that way you can lock it out when you want to and make it more like a hardtail, and then you can loosen it up for the descents. So the full suspension XC bike will have 100 to 130 millimeters of travel as well, front and rear. They can be a little bit more comfortable and then sometimes have more traction as well, because the back is going to be a little bit more planted with that rear shock. Modern XC bikes now, typically all of them have dropper posts, so that way you can bring your seat up and down, so that way you have it up to your optimal height for the climbs, and then you can put it down for the descents, so that way it's not in your way. Compared to old XC bikes, they now have wider handlebars and much slacker geometry. Instead of being super steep, they've started to slacken it out, so that way you can go faster on the descents with more confidence. And then most XC bikes have only 2 piston brakes, so now trail versus XC bike. In every discipline except downhill, there is a hardtail bike that you can get as well if you're into hardtails, but trail bikes typically have 130 to 150 millimeters of suspension. They typically always include a dropper post, wider handlebars, slacker geometry than a XC bike, but still steep enough to be able to climb all day. It's definitely not going to be as slack as an enduro bike or a downhill bike, but is not as steep as an XC bike. It's the middle ground between enduro and XC. And then they typically always have 4-piston brakes as well, so that way you're able to stop on the descents. With the extra millimeters of travel, you can go faster. And they are built to balance the climbing and the descending of things, so that way it's okay on the climbing, and then you can go on the descents quicker than an XC bike. They're designed to be able to handle a variety of terrain, from flow trails to technical trails. You should be able to ride a trail bike in a lot of different places. So what terrain is a XC bike typically ridden on? Single track forest roads, rolling hills, fire roads, mountain terrain, flow trails, and then a little bit of technical trails. And then they're not really focused on bike parks and jumps. Even though cross-country bikes are kind of like a dirt jumper with geometry, they're not really built for jumps at a bike park just because they're too big, but they are really good at jumping, I hear. So what skills really matter in cross-country mountain bike? You need to be able to climb efficiently, be able to pace yourself, and have the endurance to go on long rides. Line choice, you need to be really good at cornering because the tires have a lot less cornering knobs, so they're a lot shallower, so they're not as grippy, so you just need to be able to corner really well. Line choice, maintaining momentum, which are like basic mountain biking skills, technical climbing skills, and then of course bike handling. So if you have the basic mountain biking skills, you should be able to ride cross country. So the biggest misconception in cross country is that it is boring, and it is not gravel riding as most people think, or just flat single track. Modern XC racetracks are getting more technical every single year, so the bikes are getting able to handle more and more and more technical things on the trail. They're just getting better each year. World Cup riders, as you'll find out in the next episode, hit drops, steep rock gardens, and flat loose turns, and XC riders are some of the fittest and most skilled riders out there. Is XC mountain biking for you? If you like getting the fitness from mountain biking, going on long rides, if you like climbing and exploring new trails, then XC is probably definitely for you. XC is probably not for you if you don't enjoy climbing, want to hit giant jumps and bike park features, and if you only care about descending, then XC is definitely not for you. Because if you think climbing is annoying just to get to the next downhill, then XC is not for you. So now you know exactly what XC mountain biking is. XC is just one style of riding, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the other breakdowns that I do on different style of riding coming up in this series. In the next episode, we are looking at what is cross-country racing, so subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. And until next time, don't forget to go find your epic.